once again to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I am your hardcore host, Rick Hitt, and I'm joined by the hardcore crew. First, she is a lovely, vicious vixen, Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, how we doing, hon?
Doing pretty good, pretty good.
And over at Lance Moss TV, we have the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, what's shaking? Not good, I guess. Lance stepped away from the computer. Well, all right. We'll just have to go on without him and wait for him to come back. Um, Tony Khan has been spending a lot of money over the past couple of months as he's been hiring high-profile, high-named wrestlers. Kazuchika Okada signed by AEW for $4.5 million a year for 3 years. Then there was Will Ospreay, who was also signed AEW for over $5 million a year. And then just recently, AEW signed Mercedes Moné for $5 million a year for 3 years. And it said that Moné is right now being the highest paid female wrestler ever to be paid. Zoe, your thoughts on that one?
I hate her. I hate her so much. I know a lot of people are sitting there going, "Oh, she was champion WWE. She is tag champion." Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But she's just now signing on with a new company, and honestly, nobody really wants her there. I'm just saying. And she's being paid that much. She hasn't done anything but walk out and talk.
I
It's
agree.
only time before she gets the championship on top of everything. They're going to hand it to her to make her happy and make her stay.
Yeah, and
If
that's
I if I was a girl in that locker room, I would be furious.
all right. Lance, what's your thoughts on one, Tony Khan spending all this money on these 3 wrestlers, and now especially Mercedes Moné, who's now making the highest paid female wrestler ever.
Well, it's starting to remind me of 3 other letters. WCW.
That's true. I remember Eric Bischoff would lure ex-WWF guys to come sign with him for big money, and that was before there was they had they could just walk off the job. They didn't have that 90-day cooling period.
And y'all are forgetting one thing. She's coming out there looking like she's in her underwear. Not that saying it's a bad thing, but
so
I want to snatch the wig off of her head. It's hideous.
yeah, it is a little disturbing, especially now that she has a CEO as the back of her head. And I'm like, where did she decide to get that gimmick, CEO?
Well, I guess WWE owns the boss.
Maybe. Well, we can't call the boss right now. The only boss in WWE, I guess now, is you call him the final boss, The Rock. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. I watched Monday Night Raw for the first time in months, and I saw The Rock on there, and they called him the final boss. How the fuck does he become the final boss? I'm guessing because that's his working in TKO. Is that the whole joke?
Yeah. Now, he beat the fuck out of Cody.
Yeah, I saw that. So, yeah, but he was in his promo. He called himself the Brahma boss, not the final boss. But I don't know if they're getting the wires crossed, or if he just during the promo that sounded better, or if Michael Cole's fucking up again. I think.
Well, that just proves that steroids can rot your brain.
All right, let's move along. TMZ reported that Darby Allin broke 3 bones in his foot just minutes into his match against Jay White. The injury happened when he did a front flip off the top rope. After his match against White, obviously we saw the Bullet Club Gold come out in full force and attack Darby's foot. This was originally meant just to keep him off of TV so he can climb Mount Everest, but the injury is very real, and and obviously it was just doing that botched thing. So, unfortunately, Darby won't be climbing Mount Everest. He even said that in a recent tweet, and we're not even sure how long it is going to be to get back. I don't know if you saw the X-ray Lance that was going on social media.
I mean, it's like the middle 3 bones in his foot.
Yes.
So I'd say a month or two, probably. I mean, it ain't like he snapped his ankle or something.
Fair point. All right, Zoe, your thoughts on this one?
I mean, watching that match, I could tell something was off after he had done that flip. It looked pretty rough. Um, I really hate that for Darby Allin. I mean, he's got all these goals and everything, and one of his biggest goals was climbing Mount Everest. I hate that he's gonna have to wait on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sucks. So, but I mean, I'm glad that his foot injury is hopefully, like I said, is not a long-term thing. We've seen other wrestlers who've like had to get like 4 or 5 surgeries. Even Adam Cole. What was it 2 years ago, Lance, or a year and a half ago, Lance, where he like just jumped off the stage.
That wasn't even 2 years ago. That was just before the last pay-per-view of 2023.
All right, but still, it's
Yeah.
But
So,
he's
6 months.
6 to 8 months. All right. I thought it was a little bit longer than that. My bad. Shows you how well my timing is, but.
Oh.
Anyways, let's move along. The Wrestling Observer is speculating that Tony Khan is still very much upset with Jack Perry, because due to the firing of CM Punk. As we all know, last year at All In, Punk and Perry had a fight in the back, and Punk then lunged at Tony Khan, screaming, "I quit." Jack Perry has since been suspended. Now, Perry is currently over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he's still under AEW contract, despite what people may think when he ripped up the contract. According to reports, it was Tony Khan who made the arrangements for for Perry to work in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Apparently, AEW doesn't have anything for Perry, which is why they made this deal. But Lance, I was reading a lot of other things, and even Perry said that he did never apologize for what happened, with the fight with Punk. And he said that if Khan wants to talk to him, he's gonna have to make the first contact. What do you think about that one?
Dude, Jack, your name ain't your damn daddy. This ain't the 90s and you ain't Luke Perry. So pull your head out of your ass. That's your boss. Grow up here and talk business.
Yeah. Now, Zoe, let me ask you this. When I saw this, I'm wondering if he still being a heel and just doing this whole kayfabe thing to kind of make him look more like a heel, or is he truly pissed off?
Sorry.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're talking about Tony Khan and like Jack Perry, who was on social media and said that he never apologized for what happened with his fight with Punk. And if he wants to fight, and if that he never made any apologies, and for them to talk, Tony's gonna have to be the one to call. So I'm wondering if this is more of a kayfabe kind of feel, like interview.
I feel like it is, but even if it's not, as far as that goes, Tony pays you. He gives you money. I mean, you can't sit there and talk smack about your boss and not expect anything to come of it. Now, should Jungle Boy apologize for the fight with Punk? I don't necessarily think they needs to apologize for the fight itself. I do think that he should apologize for his actions that he could have done differently. That he could have kept it, between him and Punk, not involve anybody else, and not to make that big of a scene. Now, Punk quitting AEW, getting fired from AEW, Punk gets fired everywhere he goes. He either quits or he gets fired. And everywhere he goes, he has it out with somebody in the back. It's not necessarily Jungle Boy's fault. It's CM Punk. I know that we've got a guy on Facebook that defends CM Punk till the day that he will die.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that. Punk, I'm sorry, but he is cancer to the business. And this is coming from somebody who is in the business. There is no need for CM Punk. For WWE to hire him back, you're an idiot. For AEW to hire him in the first place.
Well, I think AEW, especially Tony Khan, he saw dollar bills. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, let's hire Punk. He's been gone from wrestling, and this is his return run. And as you said, he had problems since Jump Street. Even before the All In Brawl, he was doing a couple of promos, and he was saying, somebody asked if he had any issues in the back, and he goes, "Oh well, I'm not going to mention any names, but if I don't have to mention them, then they're really nobodies." And he was really just kind of talked down to whatever people he had issues with. And then of course,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Then again, if in that kind of a business, you're going to talk shit on the people you don't see eye to eye with. In that high stakes of an environment. Now, Zoe, you did mention something. WWE hiring Punk back. That's actually what got Jungle Boy heat on Tony, or from Tony. Because he's like, they're making the money I could have made.
But you know what? Honestly, what has Punk done since he's been back? Since he went to WWE?
Got hurt.
Yeah, got injured.
T-shirts got people into the buildings.
All right, fair enough. But even still, go ahead.
Here's the thing of the matter, though. You're a promoter, okay? Yeah. You've got all these people looking for you, looking to you, looking up to you because you have started this promotion. And this promotion has been going well since the first day that you started it. You don't want to cause friction between the people who have stuck by your side since day one and this idiot that you brought in that's already been in one altercation with the Young Bucks, and now he's having another altercation.
I agree. I think honestly that Tony did Jungle Boy dirty, because Jungle Boy's been in there, like I said, since day one, and he was a low to mid carder. He started to rise up a little bit, and he said that 2024 was the year he wanted to win the championship, and of course that got derailed due to the fight with Punk. Now you can say, all right, fine, guys shouldn't put their hands on each other, or we don't even know who started what first. We
exactly.
know. Yeah. So, but even still, I would have been the second that Punk lunged at Tony Khan and Tony fired him. He should have been, all right, you know what? Guess what? You're not suspended. I'm going to let you off with a warning in that particular situation. I mean, the last thing you want to do is disrupt it. And, so he's been off for almost 6 months now, 8 months. And now he's over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, I saw his match over New Japan Pro Wrestling. He looks great. He looks actually bigger. Looks like he's gained the weight. Something Joe would probably approve of.
It's actually a good thing that he went to New Japan, because let's face it, and he's working on his heel gimmick now. The original Jungle Boy heel gimmick was not getting over in AEW. Yeah. He needed to go somewhere else and work that shit out and then come back.
Yeah, and that's another good fair point. So, I mean, I'd like to see New Japan Pro Wrestling help him grow up a little bit. And but when he does come back to AEW, I really want to see a good push for this guy, because I am a fan of Jungle Boy. So. All right, let's move on. There are some people in the wrestling industry who have issues with Sting's retirement match. Some think that Sting should have had a singles match rather than a tag match. In a recent podcast, Chris Jericho revealed that Sting said he did not want to do singles matches. Jericho continued on by saying that Sting wanted to work with Darby Allin to help push his career forward, and I think Sting did a huge job, a very well job of doing that. Right now, Darby is a 2-time TNT champion, and everybody's always going to know that that took him under his wing. Zoe, your thoughts?
I personally would have preferred a one-on-one match. However, they did do him right with this tag match being his last match. They did a great job in it. I'm very, very satisfied with it. Now, like I said, I would have preferred a singles match, but at least I got a tag match out of it. I mean, that not only is that Sting's last ride, that's also Darby Allin's last ride with his mentor being in the same ring as him. So I think the match was great as far as that goes. I hate that he's gone, but I also love that he's gone, that he gets to go on and do his own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance, your thoughts?
I can see both sides because I mean, Sting was had so many uh legendary matches with Steamboat, Flair, Hogan. Well, Sat, just all these different guys.
Mm-hmm.
But so I see why people would want to have him have one for the road. But also, he was mainly a tag guy in AEW, so I can see where he would want to do a tag match for his last match. And you know what? If that's what he wanted, hey, they gave him what he wanted.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, guys. I mean, even if Sting, for some reason, they said, you know what, we're going to want you to just do a one-on-one match, who would that be against?
True.
You know,
Very true. And also, given his age and everything, and the way that his body is right now after so long in doing wrestling, I mean, how long of a match would we have gotten out of it?
not that long. Well, I mean, this one was like a Texas Tornado match.
Yeah.
So
Right, but if it was a singles match, how long of a singles match would we have gotten?
probably not that long. Probably it would have been a 5, maybe 6 or 7 minute match. He probably would have pushed it a little bit harder as he possibly could. But again, it's also depending on who you're wrestling against.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously, they wouldn't want to do a Sting versus Darby. I don't think that would make any sense at all.
Well, in a way, it might have because the teacher putting over the student.
True, but I think they wanted Sting to win. You know what I mean? This was his last hurrah. So
Sting wanted to do the job, but Tony and the Bucks vetoed that.
yeah, pretty
Oh
much.
my God. You know what the funniest thought came to my mind?
What's that?
He could have went up against Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, I'm sure that would work very well.
I'll be honest. I was scared they were going to get Flair to come out of retirement.
Oh,
I
for fucking
know.
crying out loud! That wouldn't be that wouldn't be a dream match. That'd be a fucking nightmare.
Like I said, I was scared they were going to do that.
No, I think honestly, and I'm sure Tony could have pulled the money for it. I wouldn't mind if he'd seen like Mark Calloway.
I don't think Tony has that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vince is already out of the business, so you know he wouldn't be questioning his loyalty to Vince. So, but yeah, again, I mean, everybody wanted to see the Sting Taker match. I listened to actually one of his podcasts, Undertaker,
Yeah.
and he said pretty much that he wanted to go against Sting when he was in WWE, but Vince wouldn't allow it because Vince didn't think it would get over with the fans. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, Vince really does not have a key on what what his fans want and just don't want.
Vince was too busy trying to get something else.
Yeah, no kidding. So, all right, but you know what? Let's move things along. Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, sadly passed away last year in August due to a heart attack. Many fans are now wondering why Rotunda was left out of this year's Hall of Fame. WWE stated that it was not out of disrespect. In fact, WWE announced that Rotunda will have a documentary on Peacock that will be a debut on April 1st. Even like the Rotunda's family spoke up about it, and they completely understood as to why they kind of gave it, the pass. They're still in mourning, and they think that it would be really in bad taste if they inducted him this year. So, Zoe, your thoughts?
Oh my God. Everybody get the tissues ready for April 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, daggone, the guy, you know, the guy was a genius, honestly, with his characters and everything. He was a genius. Um, I really wanted him to be in the Hall of Fame this year, but I can see where his family is coming from too. At least he's getting a documentary this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance, over to you.
I still think this documentary could have been a great way to draw eyes to the Hall of Fame ceremony the next that coming Friday.
Yeah.
Hmm.
As a wrestling fan, yes, absolutely. That would be, that would be huge, and that would be a big push for both the documentary and the Hall of Fame. But then again, I really never watched. I've stopped watching the Hall of Fame like 10 years ago. I just kind of read the highlights, and or I'll go on Twitter and I'll just like catch the few moments, and that's pretty much about it. Excuse me 1 second. All right, guys, let's move along. Um, Ashley Massaro uh, passed away, committed suicide back in 2021 due to being raped in 2006 on a military base in Kuwait. Ashley accused McMahon and top executives of covering up the rape. Unfortunately, her case remains unsolved. Vice News obtained previously unreleased statements from Ashley Massaro. She claimed that Vince McMahon sexually harassed and stalked her. Ashley went on to say that um, she did reject McMahon's um, advances, and was given bad scripts in return to ruin her career. Um, Massaro continued to say that she saw McMahon making out with several females in the back, but didn't give any names. And she stated that there was one time when McMahon called her cell phone and her hotel room nonstop, but she never picked up. Um, WWE previously denied anything about knowing Massaro's being raped, but an attorney from John Laurinaitis confirmed that both Laurinaitis and McMahon knew about the rape that happened back in Kuwait. Lance, over to you.
Vince just keeps looking better and better these days, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I found funny is that John Laurinaitis' lawyer, they're the ones who came forward with this information. So it just seems that John Laurinaitis is like, I think he wants to play ball to get out of what I was.
Protect his own ass. He is trying to protect his own ass.
Absolutely, absolutely. Zoe, your thoughts on all this?
It makes me sick. I think that they knew about it, honestly. I'm about sure that they knew about the rape. Uh, Ashley could have went on to be one of the greatest women's wrestlers if she had a little bit more training under her belt and some more experience. Uh, I mean, suicide's just such a touchy subject as is rape. I do want to point out to everybody that's listening, if you are having that thought, you can call 988 on your cell phone. You can text them. There'll be somebody there to talk to you. Uh, I mean, and a lot of rape victims, that's what happens. I mean, they do commit suicide.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those. It's a shitty situation. It just sounds like, as you said, this woman could have gone so far. She could have done a lot more, if not for Vince was just being a prick. And Terry 3G is in the room. He had a few comments. I'm gonna just Terry 3G said it's Jungle Soy Boy. All right. And Zoe prefers singles matches with Moxley. Well, we all knew that.
Yeah.
That's a matter of public record. And lastly, one of the other comments he said, Terry 3G said, Vince is getting karma for the Montreal Screwjob and other things. I would say more of other things. Montreal Screwjob is probably like the least things he's ever done.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other crap. So, and
Vince karma for being Vince.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's really just, oh God, and you look at and hear about all the shit that Vince has done, and it's like, how can this guy, who had so much success and so much wealth want to degrade himself to that level. It just, I
Well,
mean,
it's like that old saying: "Absolute power corrupts absolutely."
Yeah.
apparently it does. So we're gonna get on to one more subject, and that's for AEW's for tonight's AEW Dynamite. Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, Anna Jay, and Willow Nightingale will be in a four-way elimination match, no, eliminators match, to see who will face for the TBS champion, Julia Hart, and it's supposed to be at Dynasty. So I don't know who I'd like to see win. I mean, I don't see Sky Blue winning it. I'm guessing I'm going to give it to either Willow or I'm going to give it to Anna Jay. Joe, I'm sorry, Lance, what about you?
But it's been a while since we've seen Anna really do anything. I mean, it's other than when the leftovers of the Jericho Appreciation Society broke up. Let's see what Anna Jay can do.
Yeah, I agree. Zoe, what's your picks?
I feel like they're going to give it to Willow Nightingale, but I feel like Anna Jay should be the one to come out of this. She needs to be the one to win it. Like Lance said, we haven't seen a lot out of Anna Jay here lately, but that girl can fight.
Yeah.
She can, and like I said, she's got the moves. Um, I've always liked her. So I mean, aside from the fact that she does have a hot body, but that's beside the point.
I just don't want to hear her screaming, "I'll choke you out!" Like that makes me cringe so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. On a side note, this is from the inside the HWR chat room. Ridge Holland announced last night on NXT that he will be stepping away from wrestling indefinitely. In 2022, Holland broke Big E's neck when he tried to execute a belly-to-belly suplex. Then last December, Holland injured fellow NXT wrestler Aja Dragunov. So he said in this promo that he's been a step off and he doesn't want to hurt himself or any of his fellow wrestlers. So Zoe stepping away, who's definitely from a wrestler who steps away, knowing that he has hurt wrestlers in the past. What's that say about him?
I mean, it says that he's acknowledging that he is not a safe wrestler, that he doesn't need to be in the ring with somebody else, especially right now. If he's acknowledging that he is an unsafe wrestler, he needs to figure out what he's going to do. Is he going to get better training so he can be safe in the ring, or what? And honestly, I wish that he would speak to Nia Jax and convince her to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, the first off, you have to admit that you're, that
Yeah.
you are
Oh, my
injury prone.
hole!
I still remember that spot. Oh my god.
I mean, I hate it for him because he's got that guilt inside of him. You know what I mean? I would hate to injure so many people. I think he's only injured two, but still, yeah, that's in the back of your mind every time that you're getting ready to walk out, Gorilla, and go into the ring. You're like, please, Lord, don't let me hurt this person.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, part of me is wondering if any of this is a work, because the way his gimmick in NXT has been is that he fucked up and hurt somebody.
Yeah, but I mean, he's already hurt two wrestlers in 2 years.
Yeah,
One with a broken neck. So.
and not just hurting Dragunov, and not just say breaking somebody's finger or breaking their nose. He ended a man's career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let's just call a spade a spade. Big E's done.
I have to agree too. I mean, unless if there's some kind of
As much as I'd love to see him back, Big Man's done.
Yeah.
And I think even somehow he's starting to slowly acknowledge it. I mean, I don't think he's out of the business, but I don't think we're going to see him in the ring, especially not as a full-time wrestler. It just doesn't.
I'd like to see him on commentary. I'd like to see him on commentary.
Exactly. Like I said, I could see him doing commentary or maybe even a coaching, a manager, maybe even a general manager. All these little things. If we could possibly see him happen because he is an entertaining guy. He's a funny guy. So, back to AEW news. Uh, Tony Khan did hire somebody else. He also hired a former WWE producer, Kosha Irby, and he's now the chief operating officer, or the COO. Um, and he pretty much they announced it yesterday, and he'll be overseeing all the strategic planning and execution of live events, marketing, finances, uh, human resources, licensing, consumer products, and Tony Khan's wife and where she's going to be going. No, I'm just kidding on that one, last part. But pretty much everything. So I don't know, Lance. You bring in somebody new from the WWF who's now seeing all these oversees multiple parts of the company. What's that say about what's your thoughts on that one?
When did he leave WWE?
I don't know. I just know that he was a former WWE.
Because I mean, Tony, you sure you want to do this? If he left within the last 2 calendar years, you sure you want to do that? Because what the fuck did he know?
Well, he did.
What did he do?
I believe that he actually did change the color logos. So I think he actually did a good thing because Tony was the one who made the blue and the red Dynamite, if you remember, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I was saying, man, that looks a lot like a Raw and SmackDown mashup. Mm-hmm. But he changed the palette scale, which I thought was really nice and a lot more easier on the eyes. So, Zoe, what about you? Your thoughts on this guy?
I don't really have any thoughts on the guy other than daggone another WWE person.
Yeah. Let me see. He was actually president of WWE as regional director for live events. So that's pretty much what he did in the company.
How many motherfuckers have been that?
Oh no!
I've heard like Jeff Jarrett's been in it, Road Dogg's been in it, Triple H's been in it. Everybody in there
I feel like they put all of their names in like an empty fishbowl, and then they just pull out a name and say, "Okay, this is you. This is what you're gonna do."
Yeah, exactly. COO. Shit. I guess Hunter. Yeah, you got it. I was hoping for Stephanie, but I guess you got it. Oh God. Well, we know that Alexa Bliss has been out of action since January of last year on a paternity leave with her first daughter. Bliss also had a small battle with skin cancer, which she's now thankfully in for remission. But the sexy blonde took to Twitter and confirmed that she's back in the gym and she's getting ready to return to the ring. Now, Lance, I know you are definitely waiting to see her come back.
Good. Yes. Okay, Moxley.
We're gonna find Alexa Bliss tucked under his bed.
Yeah.
I can neither confirm or deny.
Wait, I gotta do it since you do it all to me all the time.
Yeah, but I'd be making her make that sound.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow.
Yeah. It just got rated R.
Yeah, it did.
Right. But I wonder, could we see her show up? I don't know, at a certain Raw after a certain Super Bowl of professional wrestling.
Probably after WrestleMania. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if she does show up around that timeline.
Yeah.
So, because she says she's in the Performance Center now, working out, or in the gym. So I assume that's the Performance Center. So, I mean, we could see that, or maybe even a little bit closer to for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, time will tell, I guess. We are going to wrap up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I want to thank Terry 3G for coming by, and of course, I want to thank Zoe for hanging out with us. Zoe, what do you got going on in the wrestling world today?
We do have a show on April 13th. TSW is debuting at GR Hampton Elementary School. This is a fundraiser event, so we do ask everybody to show up. Doors open at 4, and the show begins at 5. Make sure that you guys are there. I also have a new story this week for Nightmare Fuel over on the Nightmare Vixen. Join me on Facebook Live Friday nights at 7 p.m.
All right. And Lance, you're over at Lance Moss TV. Tell everybody about it.
Well, right now we just got Lance Moss TV and Friends Coffee Time. Where every Tuesday night we go live and shoot the shit for about an hour, hour and a half. And we never know who's going to show up. It's at 7:05 Central, 8:05 Eastern.
And for those of you who are following us, you can also, Joseph Knight, he also has his online gaming. It's called Skulden Realms. He's also doing an actual live wrestling, a reality wrestling game through WWE 2K24. So check out Wrestling Rants or Worldwide WWO for more information. So, for the Hardcore Crew, I'm your Hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
Buy this shirt!